Hey guys, I know I've made quiche on this channel before, but I got a new one for you that's probably even better than the last one. This is an Italian quiche. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is make our crust, and this is going to be the easiest crust you'll ever make in your life. I got some all-purpose flour, some salt, and some olive oil. Just when you thought there were no other ways for me to use olive oil, here it is. I'm using it in a crust now. I also added a little bit of water, and the reason why you want water in there is because without it, this crust will come out unbelievably greasy, and we don't want that. But I just took a wooden spoon and I just mixed it all together until it has the consistency of Play-Doh, and I'm not kidding, this really feels like Play-Doh, except it's fun to eat. Yay! And once you're done with that, go ahead and grab a pie dish, and we're not going to refrigerate this dough, we're just going to put it right in there. And I didn't even grease the dish at all, because there's just enough oil in here to basically grease it on its own. And I'm just going to literally piece it all together, almost like a Play-Doh puzzle, or in this case, a pie puzzle. And I'm literally just going to take all my dough here, and I'm just going to spread it around the entire dish, make sure the entire bottom is covered, and make sure the entire sides are covered, because you want to make sure that no filling is going to get through here, otherwise you're going to have yourself a big mess. But this part is actually very easy. I'll even argue and say that it's easier than regular pie crust because you don't have to roll it out with a rolling pin. I'm poking the bottom of the crust with a fork to let steam escape when it's baking, and this is going to go in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, let's talk pancetta. You don't know what pancetta is? It's a Italian bacon, and it is delicious and very salty. So I'm just going to put this in a cold pan here. I'm going to start cranking up the heat to about medium-high, and go ahead and start cooking this. Let all the grease come out. We're going to cook everything in the grease. And when it starts to brown, we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. I've got some red bell pepper here that I diced up, and I also got some white onion here. And these are going to add great flavor to our quiche. And I'm just going to cook this all up, and this is going to cook for about 10 minutes. You just kind of want to sweat all those vegetables out and make sure that the pancetta is completely cooked. And once that's done, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. You're going to want to use fresh garlic here. And then I'm just going to cook that up a little bit, let the garlic brown. And after cooking for about another minute, I'm adding some dried oregano. And this added such a nice aroma to the dish. My kitchen at this very moment smells amazing. And then I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And just be careful with the salt. Make sure you taste it as you go because of the pancetta. You don't want it to be too salty. And I just took the crust out of the oven, and it's about halfway baked, and it browned a little bit. And I was just checking to see if it was greasy, and it's not. Grazie, acqua. After you're done making fun of my Italian, we're going to lower the temperature of our oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. This will give us enough time to make our custard. So for the custard, I'm going to take 4 whole eggs, and I'm adding in some half and half. You can use cream or milk if you want. I prefer half and half because it's kind of a happy medium. And I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm just going to mix that all up before I add my next 2 ingredients, which will be a little bit of salt and some nutmeg. And I know this sounds very odd, but the nutmeg adds a really good taste to this quiche. I'm not kidding. I know it's savory, but the nutmeg really shines here. Next thing I'm doing is shredding some mozzarella cheese, and please shred your own cheese. Please don't use the pre-shredded stuff. I'm going to be putting in the cheese first, mainly because I want it to work as a barrier for the crust, because once we pour in our custard, I don't want it seeping through it all. Next, I'm adding in our delicious pancetta filling, and last but not least, I'm pouring in our custard. Don't be afraid if it goes all the way to the top, just be very careful when you carry this and put it into the oven because you don't want it to spill. And I figured while I was at it, I will add a little bit more cheese because you can never have enough cheese. And now this is ready for the oven. This is going to go in a 325 degree Fahrenheit oven for 50 to 55 minutes. But depending on your oven, this could take up to an hour. In fact, mine did actually take a whole hour, but just be sure to keep an eye on it. Next, I'm going to take some fresh basil. You can get this from the store or from your garden. And I'm just going to wash this, and I'm going to chop up a little bit just to have a garnish on top of our quiche, and also to add some great flavor. I did say this was an Italian quiche after all. And with that, our quiche is finally done. Or is it? Nope, you have to wait another hour for this to cool. Also, this is even better when it's cold from the fridge, but if you're hungry and you want to serve it right now, you gotta wait the hour, I'm sorry. But I did wait a whole hour, and then after that, I finally added my basil. And now it's time to finally dig into this, which I've been waiting for all day. Now, I'm trying to get a nice slice out of this, and I think I achieved it pretty well. Surprisingly, this crust actually held together really well. I mean, I can say that now, but when I was making it, it was my first time, and I was a little worried, but it ended up being absolutely amazing. I was very happy with the crust. Now, as for the filling was amazing too. I can't stress enough how delicious this was. This was easily one of the best things I think I've made, which I do say a lot on this channel, but my goal here is to always make something better than the last thing I made. And this quiche is definitely very high on the list, so if you love quiche, or if you've never made a quiche before and you've always wanted to, I think this is definitely a great option for you. And if you've never made crust before, I think this is a great starting point. It really is super easy and delicious. Even I was surprised by how well this came together. But go ahead and make this recipe, I really think you'll love it. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.